What's up, everybody? Welcome to NWA Nurses with Attitude. Leanne and I want to throw a quick shout out to the listeners. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate your support episode after episode, and we hope you guys enjoy this content as much as we love making it. If you guys want, go check us out on our social, Nurses with Attitude on Instagram. That's where you'll find all the updates you need, and also shoot us a message if you want. Enjoy the episode, guys.
Hey, welcome back.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, okay, Joe. I want to jump right in today. Actually, before we do, I think you have some very exciting news. And I don't
Uh-oh.
know if you're ready to share, but for anyone that listened to our previous episode on economics of nursing, we basically shit talked to universities and the limited
Yeah, pretty much.
resources that we have for nurses and like upgrading our education. And I believe Joe has some very exciting news to share.
That I got so scared. I was like, what the
You're
fuck?
like,
This is like, what's going on?
What am I sharing? Only if you want to. I mean, it's exciting,
Is
man.
it that
You
I
should be
got
sharing it.
So I'm gonna be going back to school for my RN at an actual university
Woo!
in real life, in person, with adults.
None of this online BS,
Yeah.
Very exciting.
And
Woo!
honestly, it was like a tooth and nail fight. Honestly, like you would think that because we're already nurses, it wouldn't be hard to get in. But yeah, like I feel like I just ran like for an electoral race to get like become like prime minister or something. Like it was fucking it was very difficult to get in. I pretty much had to beg people. But we're in, we're starting next September. Super excited.
Very exciting. Congratulations. I'm kind of surprised that you had to fight tooth and nail to get in, given the current status of the nursing career and how, we're so short staffed. They've essentially, like, I know that when we were in school or just after, Joe, they had canceled the final exams and basically were pushing people through school, yet they make
Yeah.
it so difficult to even be accepted. Like, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, obviously that's a part of the problem, but congratulations. Very exciting.
Thank you, thank you.
Maybe we can support each other through this journey as I still embark on my online version of education.
Yeah, you got a big exam coming up.
Yeah, I have my first biology exam tomorrow, actually. So I've been studying hard. But yeah, when you hit bio, man, it's actually exciting because all I've done so far are kind of these like filler courses, and this bio technically is a lot of it's review, obviously, but it's much more in depth.
Yeah.
And it's nice to finally be in nursing course, like related courses,
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Because I
Yeah,
think biology is like it's kind of like a filler course, but there's so much overlap. Like if you know bio, then like the rest of the nursing program, it's still difficult, but you have a solid foundation on that. Like,
right. And it goes hand in hand with farm, especially, and yeah, if you understand the
yeah.
basics, then you're golden. But anyway, very excited for you.
Thank you. And hey, like man, it's awesome. I think I think today's episode, because we're gonna be talking about something juicy today, and I think it
I am
goes
fired up.
hand in hand with like everything that we were just previously talking about, like 2 minutes ago, with how nurses it's so hard to get in, so hard to get into school, but then when you get in school, you work your ass off. We work our ass off to know the biology of the body. We work our ass off in pharmacology and pathophysiology to give care that is legit, like
Yeah.
to actually care for someone. And Leanne, I'll let you introduce the topic that we're on because I think it was your idea, so you have the honor.
Yeah. So to reel this all in, basically I was lounging on the couch the other night and I came across this documentary series called Unwell. And if anybody has not watched the first episode, especially, I urge you to go watch this, and I want to know all of your thoughts. But that's basically what I want to talk about today. Basically, Joe, the first episode was about essential oils. And throughout the documentary, there were people who had good experiences and bad experiences about essential oils. And the documentary doesn't recommend any type of health advice, I should say. First of all, guys, we're
I
not
think you forgot a
doctors.
category. There's also a
Yep,
category
yep.
of some people that were batshit crazy in this in this docuseries.
Okay, this is what I want to talk about. Like, I'm gonna be so fired up in this. I feel very strongly about this, and I don't know if this is just because I have like the nursing education background, and I understand that a lot of the population does not, and so obviously they go to social media and all these things.
Yeah.
It's just so aggravating, Joe. Okay, I don't even know how to get
Yeah.
into this. Like, I'm so fired up.
I
So
think
basically,
so. Like, I think to start, Unwell, it's a series, and there's like 6 episodes, and I think the one we're gonna talk on the most today
mhm,
is the episode about essential oils.
yeah,
But essentially, what they do is they're taking all like these health fads, and they're I think that they do an actual pretty good job of being non-biased,
yeah,
and the fads kind of shit on themselves. And there's a common denominator in each one of these episodes, but especially in the essential oil episode, is that it's multi-level marketing, and it's people
oh,
taking advantage of vulnerable people who haven't had luck with their current regimen, and they're providing them, in my opinion, um, false narratives on what essential oils can do just to profit for themselves, and they get them hooked in. And the essential oil one is so interesting because
yeah,
it talks about essential oils, but then it spends a huge part on the multi-level marketing aspect of it. And so many people are affected just by getting screwed over by like joining like these businesses like doTERRA, and what was the other one, Young Living.
yeah,
And it's just a scam.
yeah.
They make you spend thousands of dollars. In return, you're going to become super super rich, but you don't get that return. You just spend thousands of dollars, and
Right. I want to
you get
save
screwed.
I want to save the multi-level marketing for later on, but I want to talk about like the different people that they interview through this episode to like give people an idea of what we're even talking about. You guys have to watch this. Like, it's
Yes,
just
it is
mind-blowing.
juicy.
The beginning, I was literally Snapchatting Joe through the whole thing, and I'm like, dude, we need to do an episode on this. I can't hold back. So basically, at the beginning of the episode, they're interviewing this aromatherapy. I don't know if she's considered a nurse, but she does have some sort of education in
Mm.
aromatherapy, and she
I have
works
an
at a
opinion on
hospital.
this, by the way.
Right.
Just throw it out there
Let
after you're done with that
right.
thought.
We're gonna get into it. Um, and essentially, what her role is at this facility is to go to patients and explore natural remedies for healing. And so she goes to this one patient who had surgery. I'm not sure what kind of surgery, but he was getting up ready to walk, and
It
he
was
kept
a
saying,
lumbar fusion.
okay, yeah, so lumbar fusion, and he hadn't started walking yet, and he basically expresses that he's too nervous to start walking. And so, like, in this documentary, this aromatherapy nurse comes in and just like, it's the way it's filmed. They She just like has him smell certain scents, which I don't know, like lemon, lavender, all these different fucking things. And and then all of a sudden he's like, "Okay, I'm ready to walk," and then just gets up and starts walking. And I'm like, "Okay, let's just fucking
And
back it up
the
here
way
for a
that she
second."
did it too is that she got patient. And like if someone comes in, I'm not going to get them to smell like, here, smell some like warfarin, smell some Tylenol. Like, which one do you want to take? Like, if there's a medication to help someone, I'm going to give them the medication. If the doctor prescribed it, obviously, that's going to help them. But she got him to go through this whole list of smelling which ones he liked. And
Yeah,
whenever he said, "Oh, I like this one," then she came out with all these facts like, "Oh, this is an orthopedic blend, and it helps with
blah
this
blah
and that." And
blah. I don't
yeah,
know. I
very
think
very voodoo.
I want to be, oh yeah. So let's just like get it out there. I want to share my opinion like before we get into this, obviously, because I don't know if you guys can tell, but I think it's a crock of shit. It,
Really? I thought you
yeah,
were about it.
this is a controversial episode. Like, Leanne is not holding back in this episode.
And this is a
I
space that we allow you to do that, Leanne, and other nurses at home. Like, just fucking let it out. You can do this, because I don't think we're the only ones with these
right,
opinions.
right. And now, Joe, I just want to say that I understand that essential oils can be comforting to some people. Okay. So I can
Hmm.
understand that, like, tea tree is, researched to, I believe I was reading one of the websites, and this was from John Hopkins Medicine. And, they say that tea tree oil can be used for things such as like fighting acne, things like that. Lavender can be good for stress. Now, I'm not saying that that doesn't work. Let me just be clear. I've tried tea tree oil for my acne. It didn't work for me, but it does work for some people.
Hmm.
My thing is that when you buy a product from the shelf, Joe, when you go into Shoppers Drug Mart or Walmart or whatever the fuck you're buying your products, and you buy a tea tree facial cleanser, it's not just straight tea tree oil. It's formulated to be gentle enough for the skin, whatever, it's a proper formulated product. Now, in this
Yeah.
documentary, they're basically ingesting pure oils, like pure tea tree oil, pure
Mm,
oregon oil, jasmine oil, and
mint.
they're basically saying that this shit cures cancer. And like, I just can't get
Yeah.
behind that because there's no research. I did a quick Google search, essential oils medical research, and the very first thing that comes up is currently there is no evidence backed research showing any illnesses can be cured through the use of essential oils or the practice of aromatherapy. Then why the fuck is aromatherapy even considered an why can you even get certified in this? Why is this even a thing? If
Yeah.
you
And that's,
oh,
sorry.
I'm fired up. I'm
This
fired up.
I'm gonna slow you down for 2 seconds. This is because, just to stick with, because we had mentioned the guy with the lumbar fusion, and there was a
Mhm.
nurse there. The one of the narratives, and I want to kind of go through the whole episode with you, Lan, because there's like so many points that I think if we break it down per
Yeah.
case,
Yeah.
it's gonna flow better. But that one lady, she said that she's an aromatherapy nurse, and she was talking. She was like, "Yeah, I went to school. I did a bunch of hours. I think it took her like a year, and now she's an aromatherapy nurse."
Yeah.
When you, and this is extremely important for us nurses, when we use the word nurse, there's a power differential right away.
Yeah.
Like, right away, when you say you're a nurse to someone, they trust you and they will listen to you. So I don't think this girl was a registered nurse or like a registered practical nurse. I think she was an aromatherapy nurse, and that title is solely just for the job that she has at the company that she works at. But I don't think she was an actual nurse. And that's another point that pisses me off, because it's, you're using, at this point now, you're using a title to sell your product, because you think if a nurse comes to you with a tray of incense,
Yeah.
that it's, that this nurse knows what she's talking about. And
Right.
another thing that you had mentioned is that we all use, I love candles. I don't know if that's considered an essential oil, but I love candles, Leanne. Like, I light a
Mhm.
candle every single night because I love the smell, and they actually calm me down. Like, the smell just, it relaxes me.
Right.
I don't think anyone's arguing that essential oils don't do that. The issue is the narrative that they can cure you, that
That's
they're
my
this be
problem.
all end all.
That is my
That's,
problem.
yeah.
And to
Just,
go on about how, this nurse, or nurse, I say in quote to air quotes, the name comes with power. And Joe, as the episode goes on, they actually interview the next person who's a doctor. And he has basically built this like
okay,
million
but
dollar
not
empire.
a doctor. See, right,
Right.
like,
This is
he
the
tries to
thing.
tell you he's a doctor, but he's a chiropractor. And even chiropractors, I personally believe in chiropractor. I love chiropractor, but that title right there is considered a voodoo, like, that's like on the edge of the whole functional fitness as chiropractors. So him
Th-
saying that, "Oh, I'm a doctor," that's a misuse of his
exactly.
label right there.
Of his
Yeah.
power. And then not to mention his wife in this episode, this is like the next patient, by the way, was Miss America of 2019 or 2020. Anyway, so she obviously has some sort of following, support, and it's just like when you watch them, they're like spraying their kids with essential oils. Their kids are like 3 years old, and they're like, okay, honey, like we don't need to act that way. And then they like tap their forehead and then
So
spray
fake.
them.
So fake.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And then going on, Joe, I don't want to like dive too deep into this part, but it's definitely worth mentioning because I don't want to like offend anybody. But there's
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
also,
We're gonna offend people, and that's okay. This is Nurses with Attitude, okay? If you don't get offended, then you fuck off.
there's also there's also this religion to it. And so I feel, my personal opinion is that this doctor who recommends this essential oils to ingest. Now this guy is specifically recommending for people to ingest, which I do not support. He also
Yeah, obviously,
he
like
goes
shit.
to church, and they show in this episode that church is their group and they've sold to all their friends, and like
Yeah,
this gets into the multi-level marketing, but they basically used their church as like, I don't know, this like distribution center, if you will, to sell their
yeah.
products and like to get their shit out there. In this episode, he goes, one thing you mentioned last night too, Joe, is you were like,
Oh my
$77.
gosh.
Everybody has $77. Buy our book today, or whatever the fuck he's selling. I don't know if it's a
Yeah,
book or an essential oil or a class. I don't know,
yeah.
but
So for clarification, he doesn't sell essential oils. He said he makes his own, but he sells programs on
oh
how to
yes.
use essential oils. And the reason why he doesn't sell essential oils is because he would get sued because like he's not allowed to like pretty much do it essentially. So he doesn't sell them, but he sells programs on like how to like use them. And he made a comment. He said, "We make our programs available for people who live underneath the poverty line. My our cheapest program is $77." And he's like, "Who? Tell me who can't afford that." He's like, anyone can afford $77. He's like, just stop drinking Starbucks for a week, and then boom, you'll have it. Then you can change your whole life. And I was just like, I was
People
taken
below the
back so
poverty
far,
line
Leanne.
don't drink Starbucks.
It was like,
First of
right?
all.
Like I was like, holy fuck. And it was all smiles and bullshit with this guy. Like they were like, it was like 8 a.m. and their kids were getting ready for school, and him
Yeah.
and his wife, when the cameras were on them, they're like smiling cheek to cheek.
Yeah.
As soon as the camera turned off, it was so funny because the documentary, I think they kind of did this to like put them on blast, but they were talking, they were like, we're so genuine and organic, and this is just who we are. And they were smiling, and as soon as the camera turned off, like the wife's face went to like complete like resting bitch face, like
Yeah.
completely like not like, anyways, it's all fake. That's what we're trying to say, is like this multi-level marketing. It's not all
Yeah.
fake. I don't want to like, some people actually do have careers out of it, and hey, like no hate, but I just don't like the fact that like they're using this like false narrative
Right.
to grow themselves, and like it doesn't actually benefit. It might benefit some people, but there's also a lot of people who step forward and say, yeah, like we got scammed into this and we're hurt
Exactly.
now.
One thing
And
I want
I
to add,
like, that's not cool.
no, it's not. And one thing I want to add, Joe, is when you talked about how he doesn't sell essential oils. So what I gathered is that for somebody who sells essential oils, you're not allowed to make the claim that it cures anything. So for people
Mhm.
who manufacture and make these products, these like 100% pure lavender oil, you're not allowed, the owners of those companies are not allowed to go out and directly say that they cure any type of disease, sickness, illness, whatever the case is. And I think that that's why he doesn't sell the actual oil himself, because he is like, listen, you guys need to watch this. Like, I can't say this enough, but I was just flabbergasted. Like, there's no other words for this. But yeah, going into the MLM, Joe, then
Narcissism.
it's
Narcissistic personality type, big time, these
yeah,
guys.
yeah. The next person, so the next person that they interview in this documentary is a lady who is a seller through an MLM, doTERRA, and she's at the top of the line, and she says she had a
Oh.
brain tumor when she was a child and then started taking essential oils, and now she doesn't have a brain tumor. I don't.
But they also did do surgery though. That's the point that she doesn't, is that they actually did a
Yes.
surgery and they got a lot of the original tumor out. And
Yes.
then after that, that's when she started taking essential oils. So you can't correlate that, like, you take 3/4 of a tumor out and then you start taking essential oils and then like the tumor's no more. Maybe
Right.
it just dissipated because of most of it was gone. Like, you can't
Right.
put two and two together.
And so my problem with this, Joe, is that this company has specifically sought out someone who may or may not have benefited from essential oils in their personal medical journey and is using that person to sell to other people. And so this is how an MLM comes about. So basically, for anyone who doesn't know, it's basically MLMs are essentially a pyramid scheme. And so the person at the very top sells, gets people to sign on, and then these people underneath get other people to sign on, and that's sort of how the pyramid is constructed. But what people don't realize is that for the folks at the bottom of the pyramid who are not at the top, the tippy top, these people have to purchase quotas every month. So let's say Sandra, who's on the second tier of this triangle, I'm trying to like make this visually and explain this the best I can, but for Sandra, who's sitting on the second tier of this MLM pyramid, she has to purchase 100 bottles a month, let's say, of this essential oil. Now,
Mm-hmm.
regardless if she sells that or not, she's still required to purchase. And the profits don't go to her, they go to the person above. And so this is the problem. This is how they make money, is they're not necessarily selling, although that's their goal, but because the staff have quotas that they need to purchase, that's where all the fucking company money's coming from. Like, it just blows my mind.
Yeah. And they make money off of how many people they can recruit and get in, and
Right.
they teach you to like cold message. I'm sure everyone has received a cold message from someone you went to high school with, and they randomly message you like, hey, like, oh my gosh, like you would love this. And
Yeah.
like so
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Mary Kay is a big one. My mom actually used to do like Mary Kay, and have like Mary Kay. Tupperware even does it, actually.
Yeah.
Tupperware
Yeah.
has a like pyramid scheme. And yeah, you only make money. The whole point of pyramid schemes is that you're not actually selling a product, you're selling like a lifestyle. And I think you
Right.
had said that earlier, Leanne, too.
Yeah.
And you sell this lifestyle to get into. Another one is actually Beachbody on demand.
Yes.
And
I was
I
going to
I
say that.
actually use Beachbody. I don't do like the multi-level marketing side of it. Jelena kind of got into it a little bit at like, this was like years ago, but she did it for a little bit and then very quickly realized, the thing with Beachbody, though, if you guys don't know what Beachbody is, you actually purchase a membership and then you get workouts, and they do workouts. So if you like working out at home, and they have like specific programs if you want to lose weight or like build muscle or like whatever. Great app. I actually love the app, but there's a dark side of Beachbody where you have all these like hashtag like fitness coaches,
Yeah.
and you have these people marketing themselves as like, I'm a wellness coach, like I'll help you get your life better. And essentially what they do is they get you to sign on under them,
Yep.
and you can sell Beachbody's products, but they don't make money on if you sell the Beachbody products, because you're selling the Beachbody's products. Like, you don't make that profit.
Right.
You
Yeah.
make profit by getting your buddy to also become a Beachbody coach.
Yeah.
And people, they do that, and they have all their little groups. I think there is a part of that that's helpful, because some people do better like in fitness groups, but overall it is a multi-level marketing scheme. And
Yeah. Yeah. And it just blows my mind, Joe, that this company is allowing one of their staff, just ethically, okay? Let's talk ethically here for a moment. This company is allowing their staff to go out into the public and hold these like, you know, parties and whatever, just like a Tupperware party, same idea, guys. And basically she's talking about her personal experience with essential oils and how it cured her fucking brain tumor. And so obviously these people who come to these parties are like, "Oh my god, well, I have constipation, so maybe this will solve my problems." And it's just
Yes.
like, you are literally manipulating people because there's no
Yeah.
scientific studied article that supports that. And that's my problem. Is like, you know, I can see how the lavender is good for sleep, it calms you down, whatever, you know, and maybe that comes from your favorite candle or even cologne. Like, you know, I'm not opposed to like nice smelling things, guys. Don't get me wrong. It's the fact that people are out there saying that it cures their brain tumor,
Cures you. Yeah.
and it's the
No.
word cure, you know, and you learn about this in nursing school. They talk about the difference between curing and treatment. And, you know, it's a
Mm-hmm.
huge discussion in nursing. Again, like, I just have to say that there's no medical research done. And it's funny,
Yeah.
Joe, because a
And
lot
like,
of these essential oils are not approved for use in Canada. And like, I just did a quick Google search, guys. Obviously, I'm not an aromatherapist. Don't take my word at take it at face value, but the US and Canada have very different standards for their products. And
yeah.
I even John Hopkins website on from the States says to not ingest oils. And their whole website talks about aromatherapy and, you know, things that can be helpful. So you can wear aromatherapy accessories, you know, that you can smell throughout the day, or body oil. Okay, fine, whatever. But then it says they can cause irritation. And then it goes on to say, you know, these are the essential oils we don't recommend because people experience irritation and allergic reactions. Like, these are people experience these negative side effects, and they do talk about that in this documentary. Joe, do you want to talk about the gal with the rash?
Yeah, yeah. But just before we do that, take it back to your ethics question. Like where you're going was with this one girl is that she was literally you like there's no boundaries there. Like you shouldn't have someone selling like who's had a tumor but then saying you're using it because you know this cured her tumor. And in her little, because like they showed her having like this little like aromatherapy party, they were like, oh, does it cure my husband's like diabetes? And her answer to that was, and she said it so confidently that 99.9% of the time a disease or illness can be cured by essential oils.
Yeah, it's the way
That's
that they're
100%
marketing,
wrong, right?
right?
And I think what Leanne showed and what you learn the most in any kind of like nursing school is you realize when you can speak and when you shouldn't speak too.
Right.
Because we know as nurses, I wouldn't go saying, "Hey, use this product." I have no fucking idea what that is. I'm not a
Right.
practitioner even. I can't give my recommendations on almost about like anything because I'm not a practitioner. My job
Mm-hmm.
is to share the non-biased knowledge to everyone. I can't say that, take this because I think that this is going to work. And that's the difference between like healthcare professionals and these wannabes online doing these multi-level marketing. They will sell you stuff and they will say for certain this will cure you and it will be the best thing in your life. And what if you take anything from today's episode, guys, just know that they're fucking with you. They just want to make money. That's all they want to do. They're just
Yeah.
trying to sell a product to you.
Right.
And yeah, like there's people there was this one girl, she was rubbing oils all on her body, like her wrists and everywhere, and she started to get a rash, and she had like her little group online, and she posted pictures on Facebook, and she was like, what is this? And everyone was saying that her body's detoxing,
Yeah.
um so to put more, and they were like put tea tree oil, and like they were giving their whole like nursing care plan to this lady, like do tea tree oil, then like 3 days later put a bunch of lavender on it, and then and everyone was using like their own little care plan. So she was trying all these different things that she was getting from the comments, and it ended up spreading all over her body and to her face.
Yeah.
um and that's when she went to a doctor, and they did an allergy test, and she was allergic to the essential oils that she was
Yeah.
putting on her body. And that's another issue, is that these people are acting like they're doctors, and they're telling her, oh, your body's detoxing. They don't know the difference between their ass and their elbow. Like, they don't know it.
Right.
Like, they just like they're saying all this
Right.
stuff. They have no education. They don't know anything at all, guys.
Right.
And
When I looked at the first
oh,
photo she shows in this documentary, it's like, a little erythema, redness. I'm like, oh man, you got to stop using that. And then she goes on to say that she continues to use it. And I'm like, dude, you don't even know what you're
like
looking
screaming
at.
at the
Like,
TV.
stop. Yeah. Literally yelling at the
Guys,
TV.
any open skin, don't put any oil or any cream on it.
Nothing.
Like, that's not like any open, like, you can't put people, a lot of people don't know this, but you shouldn't put any oils or creams on open broken skin.
Yeah.
That's something I will say for like a fact. And yeah, like, this girl just made it a lot worse.
Um,
And it was, oh, and Leanne, when they showed them actually dropping the oil into their mouth, I almost puked.
this is the
I thought that
thing.
was so disgusting. Like,
Right.
that's so gross.
Okay, there's something I want to read
Oh,
from you from John Hopkins' website. Okay. So this says peppermint oil. There's some evidence peppermint essential oil helps relieve irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, symptoms when
oh.
taken in an enteric coated capsule from a trusted health supplement provider. This is the thing. I'm not saying these are off the table. It's not what we're saying. We're saying that people who sell this shit online in a dropper, it's not properly formulated. Like, I go back to the
Hmm.
acne treatment with tea tree. That product is properly formulated. Okay? An enteric coated capsule. So basically that means that the capsule's going in and it's not releasing until it hits the belly. Okay, for layman's terms, let's just keep it simple.
Yeah.
So if people are dropping this dropper oil shit that they bought off Amazon into their mouth, think about the damage and irritation that that oil can cause someone to their mouth, to their throat, like, just
Hmm.
people like to put this shit under their tongue.
Ugh.
Like,
You're burning your mucus membranes.
oh, yo.
That's what you're doing. And even with tea tree oil, like you said, I tried it too. I had a really bad reaction to tea tree oil. Like, my body doesn't like tea tree
Yeah.
oil at all. Like, I've never ingested it, but I put it on like my skin. My
Yeah.
body hates it.
Me
Right?
too.
Imagine eating that. Like, imagine putting that in your mouth.
I know. And the thing is, guys, is your skin is meant to protect your body. Your skin is made up of all these different types of, um, you know, cells and things that it's literally designed to protect you.
Enzymes are released. Yeah, yeah.
And
Your hairs,
if you're
your
getting a
sweat, like everything.
yeah, if you're getting a reaction from something you put on your skin, this barrier to the inside of your body, how can you bypass that and put it into your mouth? Like, I
Hmm.
just can't, Joe. I'm just like beside myself in this. Um,
And
what's the
do you know
next?
what's really like shitty? Oh, yeah. I'll save that point for the end. The
Okay,
next one, there was one
yeah.
I think we missed. It was a mother. Her daughter
Oh yes,
has autism, and she doesn't sleep well at night, and she was having difficulty calming her daughter down at night to go to sleep. So they would be up most of the night because her daughter would be, banging on the door, banging on the walls, and she wanted to find some comfort for her daughter. And she went to she went somewhere, I think, with some friends, and she met this lady, and the lady said, come to my place, because this lady was like an aromatherapy expert. And they had different scents and stuff that they were trying on the woman's daughter, the woman diagnosed with autism, to get her to see if she would calm down at night. And they actually said that it worked. They found her a scent. And you can kind of see it in the docu series as well. Like, they put the
yeah.
scent to her nose, she smells it, and like, she smiles, like she liked the scent. So they would use the scent at night, and they followed up with them a few months afterwards. And they were like, you know what, like for us it works. Like she sleeps a lot better, and you can notice it during the day too. And that's one thing about essential oils. That's like, yeah, like
Sure.
it calms people down. It's a good smell,
One thing I want to
right?
mention, Joe, is
Now it's not going to cure her autism. Like, and I was scared that
yeah.
that's where they were going to go with that. But
Well, the thing
they're
is they put
managing, you
it
know?
they put it in a diffuser. So it's not on her skin. It's not in her body. It's in a diffuser in the air. So she's smelling it. Sure, she's technically, I guess, in theory, ingesting it, but I'm not like she's not dropping it
Mm,
into her
yeah.
mouth. And that's another
Yeah,
thing I
like
want
a
to
safe
mention.
form, yeah.
Yeah. It's like this lady who had cancer saying that, oh, yeah, just drop 4 drops of this shit into your mouth and I'm cancer free. Like, yeah, but you forget to mention
Yeah.
all the other steps you took, the
And all
surgery.
the
Yeah.
variables, yeah.
You guys need to
Yeah.
watch this. I didn't watch any of the other episodes of this series, but
Oh, I did. I
this
watched the
one,
one on fasting,
oh, I
and
should I
it
should
was
watch that.
crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
the water, so they talk about water fasting, and there's people, and there's like there's all these like resorts everywhere. There's one in like Costa Rica where you go and you do like a water fast. And there was this
Okay.
guy speaking, Leanne. This guy's completely narcissistic. He's had people went there and die, and he takes like no responsibility. He's like, that's not my fault. Like he's like, and he's like, I think he made a comment, or maybe this was a aromatherapy guy. He was like, he made a comment. He was like, if God called me today and told me what I was doing was wrong, then I would tell God to shut up and I'd hang up on him because I believe that this is like the best thing in the like world. And essentially it's like starvation. And he's not a medical professional whatsoever. And he was saying that he has an advancement on medical professionals because he doesn't have to unlearn like what the system like hypnotized them with and like all this stuff. But yeah, so that's a really interesting episode as well.
I just, Joe, I look at these articles and, this brief Google search, and I just feel like with social media, things move very quickly and things get recommended very quickly. And, I'm not saying that essential oils don't bring people relaxation or whatever, or, fasting can't benefit some people in some way, but I just feel like there's not enough research yet. And so,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
A lot of it's common sense too, guys. Like in this fasting episode, there was a lady and she was fasting for 32 days. Her blood pressure went down, her blood sugar went down. And she was saying it was the most magnificent thing she's ever seen in her life. She has no idea how this could have happened. It's like, well, no shit, you haven't been eating. Like, what
right,
do
you're
you
not
think the
eating
blood pressure is going to do? Spike?
all that shitty food that you put into your body every day. Like,
Right?
obviously.
And this is even the one lady who was asking the aromatherapist lady, she's like, my husband has diabetes, could he take this oil? I'm like,
Yeah.
or he could eat more veggies and drink more water probably, and
Yeah.
like he would get
Change
like
his
the
diet,
like
exercise.
like we get so blinded by all these fads, and it's like, guys, like
The-
you don't have to starve yourself for 30 days to
yeah.
like make a difference. Go for a 30-minute walk in the morning when you first wake up, drink some water, have a healthy breakfast, eat 3 meals a day plus snacks when you're hungry, eat a whole diet. Like these are things that if you look at the Canada food guidelines, you practice mindful eating, you don't have to do any extremes. You could just be normal, and I hate to say that because I'm not trying to like throw shade on these people saying that they're not normal, but there's extremes,
Yeah.
and the people who usually do that are hurt. They've been hurt in the past. Sometimes people get diagnosed, with cancers, with other disease and ailments that's out of our control. And what we do is to have some control, we try to find these ways that we think that will help us, even if it means that we're kind of skewing reality a bit just to see a result. And I'm just saying
Yeah.
be mindful of it. We're not saying none of this stuff is like that this stuff doesn't work. You know, I'm not a definite person. I'd never say definites, but I'm saying just be critical of who you're
Yeah,
putting in danger.
that's the thing is like I agree, Joe. I want people to like critically think here. Like I don't personally agree with ingesting essential oils. Now, like, am I against using a diffuser? No, like whatever. Do your thing, boo. But the thing is, Joe, is like society wants a quick fix. It's not people don't want to diet and exercise because it takes too much effort. And so anything that comes up in social media and like TikTok is awful. I don't have the app and I refuse to download it. I'm like boycotting TikTok because like there's so much shit on there that's not true. It's like quick
And
fixes.
that's
It's
the
like
thing, like people make like a 10-second video and you think that your life is healed because this
you know,
13-year-old boy told you to like to do something radical. Like
people are like rub this banana peel on your face and your skin is so bright. Like no, man, that's not how it works. Okay, like this shit doesn't work.
like yeah,
This is
yeah,
what I'm
your
talking
face is
about.
bright because you literally rubbed a banana on it. Like it's shiny. Like no shit. Like a lot of this stuff is common sense and people
Like
just act like it's like a hidden secret.
yeah, I
Like Leanne, did you know that if
ugh,
you don't eat, if you starve yourself for 30 days, your blood pressure and sugar levels are gonna go down? Like
I
what? Really?
I just, Joe, and
Oh
you'd
man.
probably lose some weight. Imagine that. Like, what a concept.
Man.
I, ugh. Anyway, guys, I don't know that I have anything more to add to this. I want you guys to watch this Netflix series. I'm going to link it in the
Unwell
description.
on Netflix,
It's
yes.
called Unwell. I want to know what people think. I know we do have some engagement on our Instagram and Facebook. And guys, I want to know your thoughts. Do you guys use essential oils? Like, how do you use them? Please, for the love of God, don't put them in your mouth. Just
Yeah, guys.
use
Come
a
on.
diffuser. I don't know. I just can't get
Leanne, is there
behind
any
it.
essential oils? Is there any essential oils that you actually use? And like, not, I don't mean like, this is the thing. I don't think I have to clarify this, but because of this fucking documentary, I'm gonna clarify it. I don't mean like that you drink or eat, but like, do you use any like essential oils for anything like at all? Like diffusers,
So,
even like they have some of those creams.
so Joe, I did try tea tree oil for my acne. And it did not go well. It really irritated my skin. It made my skin worse. I was very reactive to it. That being said, I did get an essential oil diffuser for the car from my mother-in-law for Christmas, and it's an orange smelling oil, and I actually enjoy the smell. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't. I actually enjoy it. Um, is the essential oil better than like a car fragrance? Probably. Like I would make the assumption that it has less chemicals if it's like a true oil, but I don't know where the oil came from, so I can't like make that claim. But yeah,
Yeah,
like I'll be the first to admit I don't mind the smell of some of them. Now, I'm like pretty picky with my smells and certain things I don't like. But yeah, like I would never ingest this shit. Like Joe, there's not a part of me ever
obviously, like
that would do that.
I just thought that was the most radical thing in the world. I've never even like thought about ingesting
Yo, the fact that this guy
oils
is like
or like incense in general.
spraying his kids with it, like in their eyes and
He
their
was he
mouth.
was dousing them. These
Yo,
poor
it's
kids were playing
insane.
on their like toy cars and stuff, and like this guy ran out like a freaking soldier and like was spraying them and patting them in the face, like
Yeah,
you know,
it's
it was, and like he was spraying them right in the face, like it was getting in their eyeballs, like in their mouth,
yeah.
like
I just think it's
it was a
too
lot.
early for us to know the causes and like there's just not enough research. But that being
Yeah,
said, essential oils are in a lot of our products nowadays, like our body lotions and all that shit. Like they are
yeah,
inevitable, but
and
I
that's
don't go out and
yeah,
seek them. I'm not someone that's like out there shopping, but that's just a personal
yeah.
choice. Now, I will agree that I think maybe lavender and shit helps you relax or whatever for anxiety. Like I think that like there's definitely something to say about like the power of a smell. Like Joe, when you wear a cologne that you wore on
Hmm.
vacation 6 years ago, that cologne takes you back to that place. I'm not disregarding that, but you guys got to watch this documentary. Like it's just
So
I can't
a super
explain.
a
Go ahead.
super cool thing to mention too is that your olfactory nerve, that's the nerve that's connected direct, it's a cranial nerve directed right to your brain, and that's the nerve responsible for smelling. When you smell something, it's directly linked to your brain. So and that's what Leanne is saying. Like if you use a cologne that you were on vacation 6 years ago and you smell, you're like, oh man, I remember when I was on the beach. That is the power of fragrance
Yeah.
of fragrance. Like there's an actual like there is a power of fragrance and smell. And like I love candles. I don't know if that's considered like an essential oil, maybe, but I love scented candles. Um, and I love just like at night, like I'll throw that in. I'll have tea. I love lavender tea. I find it helps me make me relax. I also do peppermint tea as well. And
Yeah.
I think there's like a peppermint essential oil, but it's not the essential oil, like it's an actual tea, like a peppermint tea, and
Yeah,
it
it's
helps like
formulated for
calm my like
ingestion.
belly down. Yeah, right. Like
This is the thing. Like
so
it's
so it's not saying like we're not 100% opposed. Well, hold on, we are 100% opposed to sticking oils in your mouth and stuff, but
yeah.
we're not trying to be like like prude or like whatever, right? Like we use these things, guys. Like lavender is actually proven. Peppermint oil, there's suggestive that it helps with your stomach as well. That's why I use peppermint tea. But just be smart. Go watch Unwell. I think, and honestly, I'm gonna watch the rest of the docu series just while I'm up in Resolute. I watched it uh with Jelena,
Yeah.
and we were just like the whole time, Leanne, we were just talking shit the whole, the whole entire
Right.
time. We're talking shit, and we were like, "Are you serious? Are you kidding me?"
And this is why I'm
It was
like
fun.
flabbergasted. I was like, we need to talk about this. Like, I want to know people's thoughts. Like, I didn't know that people were ingesting this shit. Like, it was kind of eye opening, you know? And it is educational in a way of like, it is a very unbiased
What
series
not to
because they
do?
obviously show, you know, the potentially, we'll say in air quotes, good side, and then like the strong negative sides. And one thing to mention too, how I've said that there's no you know, research to back this up. There's actually a doctor in the documentary series that says this. She actually says that there's no scientific research, and
Mm.
I think that's kind of like the middle ground here is like there's going to be people that support and there's going to be people that don't support anything. I just think that we don't really know how this is going to work out later on down the line. Like, there's not enough
Hmm.
research, there's not enough time to be able to provide like a
So
good round up feedback for the use of this shit.
and when Leanne says it was a doctor, it was actually like a clinical psychologist
Yeah.
researcher. And
Yeah.
that's what people need to understand, especially during COVID. There was, oh well, doctor recommended, the doctor said this. Doctors and nurses, we are not responsible for conducting the actual research. Like there's actual people and their whole jobs are dedicated to doing
Mhm.
clinical based research. Doctors are not trained. I will tell you, an MD, a doctor, they're not as great as you guys think. They can't do, I mean, they could do clinical trials, but a lot of them aren't trained in that. There's actually
Yeah.
like processes that and in Canada is actually really good for this. There's processes of research that they need to follow before something can get approved,
Yeah.
and the process is pretty strenuous. Like it's a pretty deep process because we want to make sure, or they want to make sure, that what we're doing is safe. Doctors, just because you have an MD or even a nurse, it doesn't mean that we can like override that process. And that's
Yeah.
the example of a lot of people use their titles for their own agenda. So like
Yeah.
not, yeah, like I just don't think, I think people need to be like aware of that too, because a lot of people come and they're like, oh well, like he was a doctor, and like, oh, like this was a nurse, and like they said this and they said that.
Yeah, but the thing is if
Unfortunately, some people will skew you.
exactly, and if you went to 5 different doctors, would all 5 doctors recommend the use of this? Probably not, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, I think we're kind of getting, like, onto another topic here, Joe, but you
Oh
guys
yeah, we're
need to
going
go
down.
watch this series. We wanna know your thoughts, linked below. Make sure you check out our Instagram. Let's continue this conversation over there. Joe and I are trying to be more active over there. Um, yeah, I have nothing else to add, Joe.
Yeah, guys, go check out the docuseries. Maybe when we do our episode next week, we'll talk about some of the other episodes. Are you going to continue watching, Leanne? Like,
Maybe I'll watch the fasting episode and we could chat about that next.
Yeah, fascinating. I'm gonna try to watch. They have some cool ones. There's one but like tantric sex. No idea what that is, but I think I'm
I
gonna
don't
watch
know.
it.
There's one about bee
Bulking with breast
stings.
milk,
Yeah, I know. This shit's
with
fucking weird. Like,
bee sting,
bee
like having sex
stings.
with animals.
No, bee
Bee
sting.
stings. Oh my god! I was like, what? I didn't see that one. What?
We should watch this series and do an episode on every of the Unwell
Hmm.
episodes, because these are like weird ass topics, guys. Like, I don't know. I'm just a
Yeah.
regular gal, and like I ain't about to be drinking breast milk for gym gains.
Like, right? I've never heard that in my life.
It's fucking weird. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening today. Don't forget to share this podcast with your friends, and yeah, we want to hear your thoughts, like we said. So, wow, what an episode.
Now we sound like multi-level marketers. Go share this with your friends, guys. It's gonna heal them.
Yeah. All right, guys, until next time. See ya.
Peace.